Bam, we're live. Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
It's good for me. Oh, hey, Liver King podcast is getting a lot of good, getting a lot of love.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's so funny what people care about. It's so funny, the criticism. Hey, I'll talk about this more tonight, but when I tell you to drink Paper Street coffee, and if you buy it by March 27th, you get 20% off if you use the code Sevan, which is crazy. I don't know how he's doing that, but that you also get inserted into a contest to win an Ohio bar from Rogue. I'm not suggesting any way if you drink this fucking coffee that you'll be as cool as me. Not even tiniest bit. Your kids won't be as cool as mine. You won't walk around with as much happiness as mine. You won't have the deep insight into the mechanism of the human brain as me. I earned all that without this coffee. This is like this. I just drink this. And I don't think for a fucking second that the Liver King is claiming that if you eat those, you're going to look like him. Not one. He's never claiming that. He's telling you not to eat that shit. And I don't give a fuck if he's on steroids or if he told you he lifted 200 pounds and it was only 180. You fucking idiots. You're missing the fucking point. People who fucking think like that. You're I don't even know how to help you. You're so fucking self-centered, arrogant, and trapped in your head. And I mean none of that with negativity, but it just, you're like the person who's standing on a fire and complaining it's hot. Dude, just take a step off. You're sitting there complaining that why did I build the fire there? Hey, dude, like, what do you care about that stuff in regards to him? Take what you want from him. That's inspiring, moving. And if it's not, then move on. He's doing nothing wrong. It's like you're the guy. There's a couple kids on the beach practicing their backflips. Are you the guy that walks over there and starts lecturing them on how dangerous it is? Dude, get the fuck out of here. Fucking balls. You are what's wrong with society. You are. You really are. Kenneth Dunlop. Kenneth Dunlop. Bang, we're live. Kenneth, great name, Dunlop. What made me think of that is that the president of CrossFit Inc., his name is
Jason
Dunlop.
Dunlop,
not Dunlop. Guys, I am going to try to stay somewhat calm today. Thank you, California Hormones, for your sponsorship, Paper Street Coffee, and of course, barbelljobs.com.
Maybe CrossFit could go to barbelljobs.com and find themselves a CEO.
Maybe. All of these sponsors chose to be here. They weren't solicited. They are friends. They're listeners. They're just people like you who have the means or the resources or want to be involved. Oh, I like the way you kind of sizzle in like that. Are you frying something in the background, Craig?
No, can you hear something?
Yeah.
Bad, brother. It's bad. Craig Howard from Diablo CrossFit comes in with
my noise is bad?
Yeah. I think it's your mic. Something's plugged in that's weird. Oh, I muted your ass. No, not better.
Really?
Oh, whatever you did made it worse. It's like it's a cable or something, Craig, that's plugged in something weird.
I like that.
It's probably a cable. Give me a second.
Okay. Oh. So I'm going to give you guys a little backstory here. So CrossFit had an affiliate town hall, or at least I think that's what they call it. Is that what they call it?
That's right. Affiliate town hall.
And so I gave it a listen, and this is sort of my synopsis of it. I don't know if I'm very aware. I'm aware that I have biases and hang-ups and presuppositions and expectations. And so I wanted to we were going to do this last night, but I wanted to make sure Souza and Craig Howard were here. I invited on a couple other affiliate owners who couldn't make it. So I'm going to try to stay calm, but I want to tell you the first thing is in all honesty,
All right, give it a try.
I can't unmute him. I must have not. Can you unmute him?
I tried. Craig, you have to unmute yourself on your
You have
end.
to unmute yourself, I think, brother.
Got it. There we go. Is that better?
That's it.
Oh, sound
Yeah.
good.
So try to have a nice mic. Can't have a nice mic.
You still sound great.
Sounds good. Sounds real good.
Maybe gotta use my computer mic.
You sound
That's
great.
right.
That's a cool hat, by the way.
Hey, thanks, dude. I'll send you one.
It looks. Is it real snake skin? Did you catch the snake?
It's a tribal pattern.
Oh, that's an environmentalist hat. That's made out of old tires. Yeah, that's cool. Craig, did you get a chance to watch the affiliate town hall yesterday?
Yeah, I did.
And you watched it too, Souza?
Yep.
Okay. I watched it twice. I watched the Jason Dunlop piece at the end probably 5 times. To be completely honest, for the life of me, at least there's some other pieces in here that I think are just minutes and minutes of just nonsense. And by nonsense, like when I listen to someone talk, I need to know. It's not enough to tell me that, hey, we're going to bake beautiful cakes. I need to then hear about the ingredients, how long it was in the oven. I need some tools then to how to replicate that, or what the mission is, or how we're going to do it. It's not enough just to give me a, I don't know are they adjectives? I need more than adjectives. And I struggled with that a little bit in this. It feels like it was a cheerleading piece rather than and I don't own an affiliate, rather than if I owned an affiliate, I would want to know exactly what you're going to do. It felt more like, hey, we're doing great things over here. We're going to continue the positivity. We're going to continue the media. We're going to continue. And then but I need some like dates or how often or what I need more. And I felt them. And then finally with the guy at the end, Jason Dunlop, I listened to his last 3 minutes and I have no idea what he's saying. And I gave a lot of it to maybe it's because of his English accent, but I have no idea what he's saying. And I think he's confusing the word mythology for methodology. I listened to it like 5 times, and I don't think he knows. I have some serious concerns. No one came across bad, but I don't think you need to listen past Nicole Carroll. If your time is of great value to you, if you don't want to get wound up, me personally, that's where I'm at with it. And they called it a town hall, and I right off the bat, I felt like that's really disingenuous. We have a problem here for those of us who've been around for a while. We had a leader named Greg Glassman, and he had chops to stand up in front of the entire community and answer questions. You could ask him anything. Hey, Greg, is keto good for athletes? Hey, Greg, are you racist? Hey, Greg, why don't you give more money to the masters athletes? Hey, and there's a chance he'll just be like, hey, fuck off. Or he'll go into it deeper than anyone's ever heard go into a subject. And he owned the company. And so those of us got used to kind of having him around to do that, to just get up in front of a crowd. Now that's clearly, there's no one there. I think Nicole Carroll could do it, but there's no one. It doesn't seem like it's part of the corporate ethos to be transparent. And this thing reeks of that.
Wait, that's their value. That's their values, though. They said transparent like 3 times in there. So
yeah, that's the tough part about what Jason Dunlop starts off saying. They're going to be transparent about their CEO search. But the line right before that, he lied about what happened to Eric Rosa. So it was just, have you guys ever seen this guy before? That was my first time even seeing him or knowing that there is a president. Do you guys know? Did you know that?
I had to Google him.
Okay. And what did you find?
Nike, former Nike executive for international operations or international growth at Nike. And it made me recall when he was initially hired. I didn't know that he was acting as the president because he's been in the background, I think, for a year and a half, however long he's been on board.
Just for those of you who don't know, Nike is the company that recently said that they'll fire all of their employees that aren't vaccinated. and they have a long history. If you look at all the Kaepernick stuff, in my opinion, of just blatant racism. It's interesting that he comes from there. He came across nice. I just didn't understand a word he said. Okay. Do you guys want to give your thoughts, big picture, and then I'd like to dig in on and celebrate Nicole's first 12 minutes. 13 minutes and basically explain to the world, especially CrossFitters who are new to the game, why it's important they listen to that.
Sure.
Go for it, Craig. Dig in, baby.
Craig, have you had your coffee yet?
Yeah.
All right.
I came into the gym this morning because I didn't want to do this from home and wake up my family.
Okay, well, take a few
Appreciate
big gulps of that
Saturday
coffee.
morning.
Get on that performance-enhancing caffeine. What kind of coffee are you drinking? Paper Street?
Yeah.
No. Good answer.
Yeah. Sure. So no, I agree. I agree with what you said. What Nicole Carroll's piece was excellent. All of them clearly were prepared for this event, and it was, as you said, almost over prepared. I think it's over prepared. I don't know if you said they're not being intimated that it was over prepared. It was very corporate feeling. It didn't feel transparent. It was scripted. Even Nicole's part, while the content was really good, she was clearly reading a script. And that makes me, as an affiliate owner, long-term affiliate owner, a little bit uncomfortable, because then I feel like it's, like you said, it's a sales pitch to us. It's not relaxed. And I get a sense that they're very nervous. I think the last couple of years have made them very scared. And so they have a real desire to make everybody happy and be inclusive. And I think they even use that term, inclusive. It seemed a little bit incongruent that they were presenting all from different locations in a Zoom format. By the way, I'm sick of fucking Zoom.
Agreed.
But it was like a Zoom presentation with slides from different locations. And all I was thinking was, it's not what CrossFit is. Couldn't they have all gotten together in the same room in front of a whiteboard, maybe at somebody's gym, and done this, with a handheld with a handheld phone? That would have felt more CrossFit. But that's me nitpicking in terms of the content. Nicole's
I get it. We're used to, we would have liked to have seen someone announce Nicole and then her walk up and people clap and then she say hi and then she address and be like, hey, I got a monitor over here. If I see some questions I like, I'll answer them. Let me dig in. It like the L1. You wanted it to feel more like the L1 or typical Greg Glassman presentation. Yeah, me too. And I can't tell if that's my bias, but man, it feels so much more familial when it's done that way.
All of those guys are very competent. Nicole's extremely competent. She could
and Gary Gaines, man, that guy's got speaking chops too.
He's a sharp guy and knows what he's doing. If he misspeaks, I don't give a shit.
Right.
Because I trust the guy. He's earned his keep over the last 2.5 years. How he's stayed on board over the last 2.5 years is amazing to me. It's been tough.
Yeah.
And Justin Berg knows what he's talking about. He's been doing and participating in the games for a long time. He knows what he's talking about. All of those guys, none of them need
Justin. Ironically, Justin has fucking crazy CrossFit pedigree. His felt the fucking most corporate and the fucking most like. I'm thinking to myself, if I was an affiliate, I wouldn't give a fuck about any of this. And he's lying. He comes from a fucking pedigree of fucking Dave Castro. There's no don't tell me that the Open did great this year. Same with Jason Dunlop said fucking the games are doing great this year. Great this year compared to what? I felt like Justin's whole entire pitch was a subtle way of telling us, hey, the game still has a heartbeat. It's not dead. He was like a guy standing over a body being like, I got a pulse. and I'm just like, what? I was really disappointed with that. But sorry, go on, Craig. I interrupted.
Yeah, that's his portion felt like a pitch to investors or sponsors.
Yes, that's what I was thinking. I felt like it was a pitch to ESPN. Can we get on the air?
Fantastic data.
Yeah.
And as an affiliate owner, that it doesn't mean a whole lot to me, that data. As a guy that might be interested in a sponsorship relationship, it was meaningful. And it was, that data had been researched, and there's a lot of work put into that presentation. But that made it, but that gave it the kind of corporate feel.
There was a spot in there. Oh, I'll get to it. I got to play you this section of. There's 2 sections I got to see played, and if you need anything played, let me know. I really want people to have access to the Jason Dunlop talk, because I really don't know what he said. and then there's a portion there where Justin's talking. I seriously can't believe if he had someone in his life that he rehearsed that with, they were like, no. Do you think that these people rehearse this in front of people that they love? Like, do you think Gary Gaines rehearses that in front of his wife? He's like, hey, I'm going to give you I mean, I would rehearse that shit in front of my wife. So she could be like, "Hey, you sound like an arrogant douche."
I think they definitely dry ran it.
Uh-huh.
They did a dry run of it, because the transitions and everything else, the way it flowed.
You think that Nicole and Gary and Jason Dunlop heard Justin Berg's before he went up?
Yes.
Well, fuck, they hate him then. If you did that, Craig, I would have just been called Matt. If me and Matt were watching you rehearse, I'd be like, "Are we going to tell him, or do we just let him go up because we don't like him?" It was not. It's not. Anyway, I got no warm fuzzies from it. None. Is that what we want? Some of that, right? The affiliate town hall. We want to galvanize the base.
Yeah, galvanize. There was a lot of terms there, by the way, in this whole presentation that were really just that.
Did you not like my word galvanize?
Yeah, I know how I knew where it came from. It's the only one that came. And it's actually in writing in the slides somewhere.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's.
I'm looking up the definition. What do you mean by galvanized?
There's
to excite about something, to take action. Yeah.
The words, like, I just don't see the ecosystem, transforms.
Yes.
Stewardship, metrics, curating, stakeholders. And
that Rosa brought that word in. It's a shame. It's a shame. It should not be used. I'm picky about the words too, and I own this. But the lack, calling it home office, calling it education, calling it like, come on. I do notice something weird's happening on the front end though. I saw the word HQ on the front end. I saw Forge Elite Fitness on the front end.
Yes.
Something weird's going on.
Well, I think there's a number of people within the organization, some of the OGs that have been around a while, that are just kind of fed up, and they're taking action on these things. Their website guys, like, you know what, we're putting Forging Elite Fitness back up. You know what, we're calling it HQ again. And they, those were very superficial changes that were made in an attempt to be more inclusive and less offensive.
Yeah. And
to erase our past, because people were uncomfortable with some of the things that may have happened in the past. And so now, but it's nice to see us come back to reality.
Were you ever offended by all the military stuff when you first came on? No. When I came on in 2006, all that shit rubbed me the wrong way. Did it ever rub you the wrong way?
Tree hugging hippie.
Not me, but I could see. Yeah. Oh, I remember reading the blog.
Yeah.
And that anytime there's a picture of someone with a gun, if you looked in the blog comments, there were comments about it.
And even after I drank the Kool-Aid, there were, I started being around more of the military people and the first responders, and I started realizing that I hadn't been thinking correctly. Then even 2012, then they would say Happy Easter, and it would be a guy who spelt it out on the side of a hill with bunnies he killed. And I would be like, oh, fuck. You know what I mean? And I would just be like, oh, fuck, man, we are gnarly. But you kind of go through this. It takes all types. It really takes all types. And even the one of the controversial things that Greg put up was I forget, but when Bush was in office, they passed something. I think I could be wrong, but bear with me here, people. Something called the Patriot Act, where they could snoop on you, and the country was all for it to protect the country from terrorists. Well, one of the first things that they did with the Patriot Act is they started busting porn sites. And Greg's like, yo, what the fuck? And he started posting, he posted a porn site up there, and the community got pissed. But they were missing the point. The point wasn't about the porn site. The point was that our freedoms were being tread on. Right. And so there's this. The site used to be really smart and edgy, but not for the sake of being edgy, but being like, hey, let's think clearly about shit, right?
Well, that's interesting because it was bold, right? And bold. Forging Elite Fitness, right? Curing chronic disease.
Yep.
And then it became, it's a platform for health, happiness, and I forget what it was.
Performance.
It was a platform. It was which was
yes.
It was more inviting.
Yeah, the platform hurt.
And now the mission is, although I don't know if it's going to change, it's going to be the new tagline is transforming lives or something like that.
Yeah, those were all byproducts. Greg didn't like those words.
Well, right.
those are byproducts of constantly very functional movement executed at
Right.
high intensity. Yeah.
And CrossFit was always courageous and bold. And from this thing, what's interesting is they want to do more for us, and that's great because they're good people and they do. They want to heal the wounds of the past. They want to offset any damages that have been done over the last 2 years. They want to help people out of the last 2 years of difficulties. And what me as an affiliate owner is, I look at them as a partner. All I want is I want my partner to carry their load. I don't need them to help me. Right. I know how to run my gym, and there's tons of tools out there for me to run my gym and run my business. What I want them to do is build up the brand, focus on the brand, focus on virtuosity of your methodology, and make that so damn desirable that by affiliation, people will come in the doors. And instead they seem to be intent upon going out and getting involved in my business and wanting to help in my business. And this might be just an OG. I don't know. Matt might have a different opinion, but I don't
like the whole he keeps
the operations of my business.
Yeah, Gary references something called the APN, and I'll take some ownership of this, but strictly as being me and not as maybe as a logical conclusion. But I see it as like one of those magazine sales that they make you do when you're in elementary school. You sell magazines for the company and they give you a little stuffed animal. And it's like, and you're trying to sell magazines to your grandparents and everyone. And it's like, it's crazy. It's using the emotional appeal that kids have with their family to sell shit to their parents. And it's fucked up. Like, if I'm an affiliate, like you're giving me fucking discounts. You're basically selling me stuff, but under the guise of giving me discounts for it. I don't know if this is possible, but if I'm CrossFit HQ, and we should have done this when Greg was in charge, and we tried several times. Bruce Edwards was a huge champion of this. What CrossFit HQ should do is they should find out, okay, the average gym owner pays $2,000 a month for health insurance. If we can get health insurance for gym owners, that's $1,700 a month. That means each gym owner would save $300 a month times 12 months. That's $3,600. And now being a gym owner actually makes you $600 a year if the affiliation fee is $3,000 a year instead of costing you $3,000 a year. And everyone's hooked.
Yes.
Now you've given fucking proposition. The mom and dad who have 3 kids, if you could lower their health insurance by $300 a month, you've now paid for their gym affiliation. And that's fucking value.
Yes.
I don't care about the fucking discount at Rogue. Me personally, because I find it disingenuous that you're actually trying to sell me something to help leverage your partnership with those people.
Well, those types of discounts are dangerous too. And the reason why they're dangerous is they're promoted as one thing, and then you go onto the Rogue site and you search and you load up your cart, and the discount doesn't apply to certain things, or it really doesn't add up to a meaningful number, or those things are out of stock. Then you have to manage all of it's one of those things like they make it complex, and then they create more work for themselves. Like, all of those things are great, but are you following up on all of those vendors to make sure they're still upholding it? What do their websites look like for those?
Right.
Things? And it becomes just a big, uncontrollable pain in the ass. Some of those things on there are neat, and I've looked into them, but I haven't used any of them, with the exception of Thorn. But I've known Thorn many, many years, so they're
not stupid though. If they want to give a discount to the CrossFit community, they're going to give a discount to the CrossFit community.
Well, here's the other thing: if you're in a gym, any gym can go into Thorn and set up, any fitness professional can go into Thorn and set up a discounted website with them. It's a cool thing that they do if you're in the industry. So it's not really unique to CrossFit, and that's not to discount what Thorn is doing at all, or any of the others are doing.
No, it's not an attack on anything. I'm just thinking about what would bring real value.
CrossFit shouldn't be managing that or creating. I like what you say, man. Let's do the stuff that's meaningful. Health insurance.
What I got from it is CrossFit has a huge identity crisis on their hands. CrossFit has no idea who they are. I saw Nicole Carroll's speech, and she was the only one that looked like she was able to hold it together with Scotch tape. And to be honest, looking at her and watching, somebody even commented and said, like Nicole's part was reminiscent of the Jedi speech she gave back. Yeah, except for one thing was missing: the light within inside Nicole. She looked like it was almost like she almost looked like it was at a hostage video as she's there on Zoom.
Because she was acting like the CEO, but they won't make her the CEO. That's where the light's missing. Someone's not supporting her, but she took charge. I agree with you. The light was missing.
The light was missing, but she was the only one that actually felt like she was the only one when I watched that I felt like she was speaking with what I understood. She was trying to say like, hey guys, we haven't steered too far away from this, and there's still an opportunity for us to get back to the methodology at its core. And she was appealing to the L1s out there, and she was appealing to the affiliate owners, and she was the only one whose language I understood. Everybody else was spinning their wheels in dirt, especially when it came to Jason Dunlop. I'm gonna read you something here. District Manager, Gap Inc. Divisional Head Brand of Sales, Marks and Spencer. Regional Controller, The Body Shop. Divisional Manager, Waterstones. Nike, Chief Operations Officer for Europe, Middle East, and Africa, Starbucks. Every single one of those companies, he'd only been out for about 3 or so years. So Jason Dunlop, I could already tell you, he will be exiting CrossFit in 2024. Now, the biggest issue I had with him was he said, we're looking for a new CEO. Look no further than Nicole, and everybody else get the fuck out of the way. Then second piece of
those are your words, right? You're saying that.
I'm saying that. Yeah.
I mean, she gave the CEO talk in the fucking beginning. Do you guys think that those people heard her say that? Did Jason Dunlop know that she was going to say all that? I mean, that was just leadership shit she was doing.
They are probably so lost that they were like, oh yeah, that's fine, Nicole, go ahead and say that. That has nothing to do with our go forward brand strategy.
There's basically a power vacuum there, and she just filled it. Like someone should have walked over to her in the middle and just like pinned a CEO tag on her. I mean, she did it.
Is Jason then says, whoever's going to be the CEO, we want to make sure that they have CrossFit at our heart. Unless he was doing Fran inside all of these stores. So I don't really know what's going on here. And also all these are all commodities. Everything that he's worked for before were all retail.
And what's the implication of that? What are you saying by saying that?
I don't know what he's going to do with the brand, and the question with the brand CrossFit, because we don't sell soaps or coffees or shoes.
Right.
So I'm confused as to far as like the choice. And you
think it's a big difference. What do we sell? What does CrossFit sell?
Well, that's what I was going to go into. So who's CrossFit's customer? What is their brand strategy? And what is the long-term strategy for return on investment? You've heard me say this a lot of times. Until we actually know that, until Marnie Miss Payne actually speaks up and tries to give us some direction here as far as we could connect the dots between the board to the...
Who's that? Who's Marnie Miss Payne?
I would imagine she's the person in control.
And why do you say that? Do you see her name somewhere?
Yeah, on the Berkshire Partners controlling manager list under CrossFit.
Okay.
Her, George, and Ross, I think it is. I got to bring him up here.
Have you, Matt or Sevan, considered that Nicole's been asked to be CEO and she doesn't want it?
No, that's funny. Good. You say that one time. One of my friends one time made fun of me that my wife and I weren't married. And I told the whole table, dude, I've asked her to marry me 3 times and made everyone feel uncomfortable. Wow. That is interesting. Do you know something?
No, I suspect that's a possibility.
Wow. If they have, if they have, I apologize. That's very, very interesting. If they have, I apologize. If they have not, they are leveraging her right now to hold down the ship. They better fucking increase her pay or offer it to her. Wow, that's fascinating to me.
That job is incredibly scary right now.
Sure. Yes.
With the turmoil within the existing affiliate groups and within the conflict with the games that has been created with the departure of Castro, and then you got a Berkshire management team that may or may not really have a good understanding of CrossFit. Like, being the CEO is oof.
What's hard? It kind of reminds me of this position Adrian Bosman and Justin are in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like man, it's big shoes to fill. And if they do make her CEO and they don't give her the power to be CEO, then she's got another big problem.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I have this avocado tree in my yard, and it gives about 500 avocados a year, and it's wounded. It's in bad shape. When I moved into the house, it was fucking dead, and my dad told me cut it in half. So we've left a stump that's like 12 feet high, and it rebirthed itself. But there's holes in it that are so big you can see through it. And my dad told me recently I have to cut another 2 feet off the top or it's going to die. And I'm struggling with that. I'm struggling with pruning a massive chunk off the tree. And I think that's where CrossFit is. If someone like Nicole came in, I mean, this thing has to be probably pruned way the fuck back before it's going to grow healthy again, right?
Correct. I think a little bit of an answer to Matt's question. I see CrossFit as a methodology, and I see CrossFit as a certification and a certification and training company. And I personally don't think there's anything wrong with continuing to build off of that entirely, and then create such demand. Tell the story through media, social media, tell the story of the transformations, tell the story of the successful affiliates that grew their businesses from nothing. People that had, very little money in their pocket now have thriving businesses. All of the coaches have been hired. Continue to tell that story and continue to
how rewarding it is, how it's so much better than being a fucking barista.
Make CrossFit an incredibly desirable place to be at. I think one of the problems out there is that because it hasn't been well defined, affiliates are setting unrealistic expectations for what CrossFit should be doing for them. And CrossFit hasn't reined it in. Instead, they've gotten almost apologetic.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how many people all three of them just said profuse thanks. And I know they feel it to the affiliates, but I don't, at this point, I don't know.
What does that mean? Profuse things?
Well, so they all started out with, we are so grateful for our affiliates and our community for sports. Each one, it sounds almost apologetic, meaning we haven't done our share, but you've been hanging in there with us, and that's not the case.
Right.
CrossFit has done some great things. The L1 through L4 program is unbelievable. The certification process, adding 300 more affiliates that's impressive.
But why? But let's talk about that for a second.
On that.
What?
Yeah. I want to know the net number on that.
Right.
Yeah. And why
don't say things like we've added 300 affiliates without telling me how many also left.
and why do affiliates care that? So when I hear that stuff, I'm thinking all you're doing is just trying to tell the affiliates that the company's not dead.
Yes.
And it's a weird place to like they all have their back up against the wall. Nicole didn't do that. And the JFK saying, don't ask what you can do for your don't ask what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country.
Yeah.
The truth, someone needs to come out, like Greg would have done this. Someone needs to come out on the attack almost and give the affiliates a fucking pep talk. There's a wounded like deer in the field fucking feeling from it all. And it's like, you don't need to do that. Like, we're all badasses. Everyone joined this thing because we're badasses. There's another thing that they kept saying too. We're going to listen to you. We're going to listen to you. We're going to listen to you. And I understand the sentiment, but I want to tell you, as someone who used to work at CrossFit HQ, those of you who are talking to CrossFit HQ, 99% of you are batshit crazy. And you are actually goo in the fucking cogs. And so when I hear that they say they're gonna listen to you, I wish also they'd say, and shut the fuck up and don't email us unless you have something really fucking important and get back to work. Right. Someone needs because that's what they would have said. Greg would have told us in the old days. You remember on the site it said, "Don't contact me." Remember that shit on the site? Everything you need to know is on the site. Don't contact me.
Greg Glassman never said we're here for you.
Right.
I never had an expectation. If that guy stopped by and said hello to me, I was like, oh shit, right? That's awesome. He trusted me to run and build my affiliate. And all I wanted them to do was continue to position CrossFit within the world to be a desirable thing that people wanted to do. And then they would come to, and they'd Google and they'd find me and they'd come to my facility.
Yeah, I think Craig, You hit it on the head when you said that, and Nicole touched on this too. They need to really lean into the certifications, and they
Yeah.
need to put a ton of media and focus onto that. Because if they grow the
Yes.
certifications, not only will it be a revenue stream for them or money coming in. I don't want to get into too much corporate talk here, but it'll start bringing dollars more into CrossFit. But more importantly, it'll start creating more L1 coaches, which will then be passionate about the work, which will find their ways either into existing affiliates to help rejuvenize and continue to staff those places, or they'll go and they'll open up their own affiliates, creating competition within the, using a word here, the ecosystem, right? Essentially, they'll start opening more gyms in competition. Although for some of the gyms that aren't willing to get in there and do the hard work to become the best, it might be a little tough, but at the end of the day, it'll benefit all of us more if we have more of them coming in.
Every person that takes the L1 turns into a freaking CrossFit kook.
Mm-hmm.
And all they do is they talk to their friends, their families. People come in here and they go, yeah, I'm here because, you know, my sister does CrossFit. I go, she doesn't shut up about it, does she? He goes, no, she doesn't. And people won't do CrossFit for a period of time just because, you know, I don't want to do what my sister-in-law told me I should be doing. But deep down inside, the seed has been planted.
Right.
And they're thinking, man, shit, why is she so excited about that?
Yeah. And then the other unfortunate thing,
you get people certified and you'll have all these mavens out there raving about CrossFit.
yeah, and not only that, but like I said, it's a big revenue builder for them, right? And then CrossFit can continue to grow their red shirts and everything else. But the other thing in this, you know, I don't think the opportunity is completely missed here, but where's the media on health? And I think the reason why they're not going to do it is because they have to push back against this narrative that's happening right now. And if they would have leaned into just the CrossFit methodology and just push as much media as they could, simply speaking, the 100 words of fitness, and basically taking the L1 into small bite-sized chunks and just blasting content out there with it, people would have drawn their own conclusions against a lot of this bullshit that we're seeing coming from the pharmaceutical companies and the mainstream media. And they should have really been, here's what we're going to do. We're going to become a hardcore media company saying nothing but the truth when it comes to health. We're going to untangle this mess when it comes to science and understanding research papers. And we're going to tell you we have the solution. It's called the L1. Grab your mother, grab your cousin, grab your best friend, and go take it right now. Even if you don't want to be a coach, only because you want to be responsible for your own health.
I want to say one thing about that too, because I started going down that pathway as I was watching this. I was like, man, why is Nicole really driving the L1 in terms of coaching? But we have to remember that this was for the affiliates. Nicole knows that the L1 is for fucking every single human being that who on the planet. But this was also directed specifically at the affiliates. I want to take us down Nicole's talk a little bit and talk about how fucking amazing it was. And I really, really encourage everyone to share this with your gym members. And then I'd like to move on to Gary a little bit, and then Justin, and then I kind of want to play a little bit of what Justin said and a little bit of what Dunlop said, and see if someone else can decipher it. We talked about how this wasn't live. That's a true disappointment. It's at least just tell us it wasn't live. Don't try to fucking like dupe us. Don't call it a town hall. Don't mischaracterize it. The first thing CrossFit needs to do is work on its integrity and its honesty. Though we talked about how they're leveraging Nicole Carroll. She came out there. She spoke first. She basically is the CEO. So now, unfortunately, instead of like taking just good shit away from her, we're wondering like, well, have you guys offered it to her? And she said no, or what are you guys waiting for? Just make her the fucking CEO already. She acknowledged the 2 years of craziness. She acknowledged that the roots of CrossFit, that it came from a fucking dumbed down industry. I thought it was interesting that she didn't invoke Greg. I didn't hear her say Greg's name. I don't think she's afraid to, but I think that would have helped to use Greg's name, or maybe even speak about, galvanize the base a little bit, or talk about the base and talk about first responders. I didn't hear her mention that either, but she did go back about how this thing basically saved the industry. And I think a lot of people don't realize that because they're so new to CrossFit. Like if you're 30 years old, or younger, you probably don't know this shit was fucked up 15 years ago before CrossFit came along. And Nicole touches on that. It's important. She talks about how there's no gimmicks in CrossFit. She talks about how we revolutionized the industry. She talks about the courage and the courageousness that CrossFit used to have, and she gives some examples. And all of that was courageous to say to squat below parallel back in the day, for those of you who don't know. It was crazy. No gym would have a fucking rope hanging from the ceiling at Gold because they'd be afraid for insurance reasons. We used to get kicked out of everywhere for doing wall balls or deadlifts. and CrossFit has changed all that. So she gave she was being very honest, and that was refreshing coming from HQ. She talked about virtuosity, doing the common uncommonly well, all great. She talked about science, observable and repeatable. If a fucking half this country fucking has no fucking clue what the fuck that means.
Believe.
She said that CrossFit is for anyone. That's why they don't fucking need a DEI council. That's all they need to keep hammering. She said it. We've all known that. That's why we came here. You love walking into the gym that's fucking owned by a fucking Filipino couple, and it's fucking 52 Filipino people and one old white lady. That was my mom at she loved that gym. It was her fucking favorite gym in the world. Sorry, Annie. She likes your gym too. Another Filipino. Maybe my mom, or Asian. Maybe my mom has an Asian bias.
That said, we don't have to, and one of the things that concern me about the presentation is we don't have to advertise or highlight that we're inclusive and it is available for everyone. Forging elite fitness was exceptionally desirable. Curing chronic disease was kind of an elite type approach to fitness, and we don't. When people walk through the doors, it's proven we accept everybody, we welcome everybody, and we're happy about it. But showing everybody that we're inclusive and telling everybody repeatedly we're inclusive, that in my opinion, it weakens the brand.
It dumbs us down for sure.
It dumbs us down. Yeah.
You don't need to tell us that Jennifer Hunter Marshall is a black strong woman. Just fucking show us the fucking video. We fucking get it, man. Mm-hmm. We all know her. Everyone who's been around for 15 years loves the shit out of her. We're proud of her. We just need the video of her. We don't need it Juke CrossFit. Thank you. That was she talks about the methodology, how CrossFit defined fitness. A lot of people don't realize that. They're just like, oh, CrossFit's, anyone could have invented it. No, actually, anyone could have, but they didn't. Right. But they didn't. Greg defined fitness. They professionalized coaching. She defines like what that meant, and she talks about the spirit of the community. I think that's a lot of the problem. What's going on? Why this thing's limping along? By the way, I think there's people who want to leave CrossFit, but they don't want to leave the community, and they're not sure if they can do that if they pull the trigger on it. When you see Nicole Carroll up there, and this gives her an unfair advantage over everyone else who's up there, especially Gary, who's I think a pretty hardcore CrossFitter, is that she heard all of this from the horse's mouth. She was trained by Greg, taught by Greg, mirrored Greg. I mean, she knows fucking everything. She lives it. She lived it. Her husband is a man who used it to save his life and fight for this country. I mean, she's immersed in everything from the base to the most far outer fringes of what this company is. I seriously can't believe she hasn't left, to be honest. She talks about stewardship of the brand. She talks about bold conversation. Greg Glassman used to say this in terms of, hey, we're the caretakers of a national forest. We are not grooming a fancy garden. And she's basically, the first time I really heard this said very simply was from Craig Howard's mouth, who you see here on the call. He said, hey, how about you just don't fuck up the brand and make good media and we'll do the rest. And
elegant solution there.
Yeah, and I think Nicole touched on that. Like, hey, like we need to just focus on ourselves. And yeah, and like Justin can say that. Like, that's another thing too. Like, it's okay for HQ to be like, listen, motherfuckers, the games does not work unless you all join the open. Every fucking CrossFitter out there, please join the open. Yeah. Let's get these fucking numbers up. That will get us more fucking money. Thank you. CrossFit HQ is perfectly okay making money. We'll reinvest that money into more video, and then we'll all grow fucking together. Don't tell me that you had your best year. You had a great year when you hit 300,000 when we know it's gone over 400,000. Like just talk to the community like they're fucking people.
Yes.
Stop being a fucking pussy. There's no pussy in this pedigree. There's no pussy in the CrossFit pedigree.
The games are the unique and distinguishing characteristic of CrossFit. And because it's measurable and observable and repeatable, we can have the CrossFit Games. That's where it was born. This is proof of what we do. Orange Theory, F45, Barry's Bootcamp, they can't have a CrossFit Game. They can have a prove that your fitness event because CrossFitters will win it.
Right.
We have motorhomes there that people sleep in. The greatest athlete of all time sleeps in the fucking park.
Yes.
At the fucking event.
And so we
we're real.
Right, we all should be doing the open.
Yeah.
We should all be signing up and doing the open.
And it's okay to just talk to the community and just give it to them. You should be ashamed you didn't do the open. Just own that shit.
Yeah. That's right.
Just own it.
The other thing too, Justin's piece, Craig, I think you already said this, but it was just one huge pitch to like brands. I think he was like, I felt like I was like,
hey, dude, that was a rehash of something I've seen before. I think that he did to ESPN.
It literally, it was just him just kind of just going over like, oh, we have 1 billion, impressions on social media, and we have over 300, whatever it was, million minutes of footage. And you don't need to just have a 30-second ad space in between plays. We'll let you run the ad the whole time they're lifting weights. It's like, okay, are you going to run affiliate ads the whole time? You should at least said that and said, oh, and by the way, affiliates, if you have a great piece of content or a transformational story, please send it to us because all the numbers that I'm pitching right now will show your affiliate there.
I want to tell you, say something that just came to my mind about transparency. Nicole works in a fucking department where you get feedback from the people below you, from the people at your level, and from the people above you. You get feedback from the participants. It's a fucking tough place to be.
Oh, yeah.
It's life altering and and tear jerking to be on the L1 team. No, I don't think I've never even heard of a workplace like this. Everyone is fucking giving you fucking feedback, and it's like it's just they're constantly sharpening the blade. And when I was head of media, like it would be a little scary to get a call from Nicole. She is a perfectionist. Like you would make a video and then she'd see it again. And she'd tell you she needs to sleep on it. Then she needs to see the video again. And then she needs to sleep on it. And she heard an audio pop, or she didn't like the way this person was standing, or are you sure that squat looks like it's below parallel? Or I see a wrinkle on the screen. It's like, my God. There's her and Dave, man. There's no lack of ambition and perfection in them. And everyone grew from that, but it was hard. It was hard. It was hard. I wish there was something I could say about her that, to balance it out, the negativity. So but I wish I could say something negative. I can't think of anything in terms of in this context. Like maybe I could tell you she eats with her mouth open. I mean, she doesn't, but I mean, maybe there's some personal things but as a leader, there is, I mean, she fucking killed it. But I didn't even think of this. What Craig said, her light has dimmed. Maybe it was because she was reading it, but that's not the Nicole Carroll. She walks onto the stage at the L1 training seminar, the yearly seminar they do for all the L1 trainers, and she's a fucking beacon of light. And those people fucking stand up and jump up and down and shit. She's a hardcore CrossFitter. CrossFit changed her life. It changed her husband's life. She's through and through. And I highly recommend. Can we put a link to that in the
a link to what?
To the side, to the affiliate town hall.
Yep.
In the side. I highly recommend everyone listen to her first 13 minutes. And then you can probably find a similar talk she gave to trainers somewhere on the website. Is there anything you guys want to say about Nicole before we move on to Gary? I know I just took up a lot of time there.
But I'd agree with your comments and observations. Nicole's always been apprehensive about getting in front of crowds. She's very humble.
Yeah, she doesn't want the attention, right?
She doesn't want the attention, and so and that's why I suspect that the CEO role may be something that she may have turned down.
Interesting.
That would be interesting to know. That would be.
I have subtly slipped into her DMs. Even though I have her phone number at home, I don't want to text her and bug her. I have asked her to come on, and she just gives a little heart like I saw it. She's a very cordial person. I don't expect anyone there to come on because I don't.
How cool would it be though to be
part of my
How cool would it have been to have been a format like this, or them sitting all in a, in a room together, just having a casual conversation? Boy, how fucking hard was this last 2 years? Holy crap, man.
Yes, it would have been authentic and real.
And man, yeah, we put 300,000 people in the open, man, but we had to beg, borrow, steal, and everything else. And we're counting on the affiliates to help us to get, 400,000 or 500,000 next year.
Mhm.
We've added 300 affiliates, but holy crap, we're losing people on the back end. Like, let's be partners in this with us. We're not dumb.
Right.
Every OG I talk to knows what's going on, right?
Well, the good news is it seems like most affiliates don't care because the video only
That's
has 1,000 views. So that's the good news, I guess. Most affiliates have their head down and are working.
Well, to that point, Sevan, if CrossFit focuses on bringing on the brand and bringing bodies in the door, we'll be so fucking busy we can't bitch and moan and complain and ask for help.
Mhm. Mhm.
All you want to do is build the brand so that so many people come in, we're making money, we can't bitch.
Gary has a beautiful voice. He presents well.
Okay.
I think Craig said that it's obvious he does care. He is in a fucking tough spot. He's
Yes.
at that fucking vector where all the people in the community who are using the methodology to make a living are looking to him to blame and probably not give credit to. So that being said, he's in a really, really tough spot. He's new to the company. They appear to be rudderless and sailless, and so they're just a ship that's out at sea. It's got to be fucking tough. And once again, I assume all of these people are leaning on Nicole. I mean, I would, even if I had been there for like 15 years, like now, you only have two choices: to step up and start acting like CEO, like we saw her do, or to lean on her. And I'm assuming Gary's leaning on her, which I don't think is bad. He said that the brand is going to start acting like one brand and not three departments. I don't even know what that means. That's more like, hey, is that just internal talk? Like, why? I don't want to hear that. I'll own this. They keep referring to the home office and EDU instead of calling it HQ or training. I do think, though, that I heard Gary say one time HQ. He kept saying how much they would listen, and I think that that's a mistake. I think that they should go on the offensive. I think they should be like,
Yes.
Kids, clean up your room. It's time. Let's get to fucking work. I think we need more of a you guys are warriors talk, and we're all going to fight this together. They said they're going to improve storytelling. Enough. Stop telling me that. We already fucking cracked the code on this in 2008 and 2009. Go back, watch those videos, just repeat exactly what we did. If you don't know, basically fire fucking everyone. There's a guy there named Leif Edmondson or Tyson Oldroyd, or hire Mike Workington get him back from Chris Cooper's company. Bring the journal fucking back. Like, stop. I'm tired of you saying that you're going to, it's all there. There's 10,000 pieces of examples of what you need to do to grow this company and make the affiliates happy already out there. Just copy those.
I heard Leaf.
Just copy them.
I heard Leaf was the one that put Forging Elite Fitness back on the CrossFit main site.
I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised. Yeah, he's he's
very CrossFit of him, by the way.
For those of you who don't know who Leif Edmondson was, the entire time I was there, basically at CrossFit Inc. I started a little bit before him, a couple years before him, but he's in charge of everything that the world saw of CrossFit. He's one of those people that, like, even if Dave wanted something published, Nicole, Justin, me, Greg, anyone, it had to go through Leif. He was the fucking gatekeeper, and then he pushed the button, and the rest of the world sees it. And he took that fucking job seriously. He's got something wrong with him too, and that you want someone to have something wrong with them.
I think you're correct in everything you said, and made him a suggestion to everybody here at home office. Read this book, because actually inside this book they talk exactly about what you're saying. And what happened was, this was a small coffee shop that started to have a ton of success, and then they went and they were going to go for they're going to go as on the public market, right? And then they realized they started losing all their customers. And then they started doing all these different initiatives and all this type of stuff. But they had brought in a bunch of corporate people because they thought, hey, we're going to be big and we got to do this right. So we got to bring in corporate people. And basically what the book says is that they've lost their way. They
Show me the book again. What's the name of the book?
Stuff. It's called The Secret Lives of Customers.
The Secret Lives of Customers. All right.
It's super.
I'll read it if that guy will come on the podcast.
It's a super short read, but basically what it does is you actually explained it perfectly, which is, hey, you guys found really great success early on, and then as it started to grow, or in this case changed hands, and you brought in people that weren't a part of the original success, all the initiatives you're trying to do aren't working, and you're continuing to lose some of your original customers that you built your foundation on. So if you actually look backwards as to what got you there in the first place, and then just continue to focus on doing more of that, it'll help guide the ship back into the right direction.
I'll give you something really poignant if you're listening, HQ. Send a filmmaker to an L1. Have him bust his ass or her bust her ass and film 20 of the 40 participants who are there. Pick the ugliest motherfuckers. Pick the old lady with one leg. Pick the fat guy whose shirt keeps coming up over his belly button in the back. Ask them why they're there. Turn that into a 2-minute video. On top of that, for B-roll, show them moving. They will never let you down, those people. Those are the fucking people you want. That's where the accountability, responsibility, that's where it is. You're going to get I overcame cancer. You're going to get that I used to weigh 600 pounds. You're going to get my sister died. This is the only hope I have. You're going to get all that shit. You could do it all in one weekend and just start pouring that shit out. You'll hit home runs. You want it. You want to take over YouTube. You want to be putting out so much fun content. You want to bring the journal back, and you want to build an OTT and over the top. You want people to be able to watch this on their Apple TV, their what are those? The Roku, Amazon. Get all that shit. It's easy. It's cheap. It's not even expensive. It's a couple $100,000 I'm talking about.
Bring it right into their household. And one thing too, going back to what you're saying about Gary's job, I think for his position that he's in, and especially getting out, man, he has stood out in front of everybody, taken a few punches with a smile, and then continue to kind of trek on. And I will say I haven't had any lengthy interaction with him, but when I was in Miami at Wadapalooza, he made a point. I was sitting there and I wasn't even focusing on anything. I was kind of drinking my coffee, taking a break, and he walked past and he stopped. And then he turned around and he walked over and he goes, "Hey, Matt, I'm Gary." And he puts his hand out.
Oh, shit. And the reason why that's so profound is because probably a week before that, we did a whole show beating up on Gary. Not a whole show, but we beat up on him pretty good.
Yep.
We beat up on him. And so okay. So he got no pussy in him either. He's like,
no,
I see
he
you.
Came right over
I see you.
And I stood up and I shook his hand. And I said, "Hey, Gary, nice to meet you." And he said, "You too." And he just kind of turned around and tracked. And it wasn't assertive or anything like that. It was basically he was just saying,
he didn't shake you like this.
Pulls me in, whispers something in my ear. "Don't you speak on me again, boy." No, but he that was, and that speaks to his character, I think, right? Because it's easy in those situations to just kind of hide. It's easy for him to realize, hey, like, I'm kind of standing up in front of the firing squad, but you know what? I'm not afraid to get out here in the community and walk around. And there's that dude that was on that podcast, and I'm going to go right over there and shake his hand and let him know, hey, you know, I know who you are and just want to introduce myself. And I think that's really decent of him. So that speaks to his character.
I think so too. Do you know him, Craig? Have you interacted with him?
Yeah, I have. Been in a couple of meetings with him, one-on-one discussions with him. He was the one that fired me from CrossFit.
Oh, yeah, he was. Hey, did he fire you gently?
Yeah, he did. He was really good about it. He's a good guy, but he's very approachable and very likable. And one of the things that concerned me, and Matt spoke to this, especially with the book, is they're making themselves so accessible. We want to hear from you. We want to know. Well, the people that take advantage of that, I think, in my opinion, are the ones that we don't want. The rest of us don't want talking to them. It invites criticism. It invites complaints, and it's usually the squeaky wheel. It's the people that have the most time. I'm too fucking busy.
Yeah.
To freaking pick up the phone, try and call someone and bitch about, you know, the lack of advertising I'm not getting or whatever it is. Right. So making it more easy access for people to express their opinion, I fear will shape CrossFit into something that it is not.
5824. I'm gonna pull that clip. Craig Howard explained that perfectly. You do have to really realize this at HQ. You have to realize what should have happened is the 400 affiliates that got upset when Greg said Floyd 19. Greg should have told them to fuck off. De-affiliate. Here's your money back. And I want to tell you, on 100 occasions over the years, I would hear affiliates call and complain or say something, and Greg would be like, "Fine, your check's in the mail. I'll send your $500 or $1,000 back to you," and hang up on them. Like someone has to be able to do that. When people start saying stupid shit, they need to get off the fucking boat. You cannot try to keep every fucking I hate to pick on the Make Wads Great Again guy, but he's trying to keep every follower. Sometimes you just gotta be fuck you. I leaked the workout. I don't give a fuck. Tell them to work better on the URL. It's fine. You don't have to say sorry because you made a CrossFit Games video and you didn't have an albino homosexual Armenian in it. Like, you didn't know where I was working out that day. Like you did. You're doing your best. You don't have to say sorry for everything.
Yeah, I think
and they are professional complainers. The people hearing from you. My words, not Craig's, but I think that's what he's getting at. These are people who they're in the pizza place and they write back feedback for the pizza guy. There were 32 pieces of pepperoni. Your ad says 33. Like,
I think Craig said it best. Like, if you just would have had them all in a room, like everybody who was on the town hall with a whiteboard there, just having a real discussion and allowing us to be a fly on a wall, even if they had to talk about some hard stuff. Hey guys, we're losing some money. Hey guys, we need to make a return on our investment here. Berkshire is putting a ton of pressure on us. What are going to be our long-term strategies? I know that we had to go with Monster with the games. We know that there was a pushback with the community. Guys, we had to do it because we need to generate some money here. Affiliates, we need you to step up right now. We need to strengthen this brand. We need the OGs in the game with us right now. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to brainstorm some ideas here and start working through it. Right? As opposed to curating this message in every 2 seconds. Next slide, please.
And someone can even stand up. I'll give you another example. All the shit talking about Monster. And Greg and Dave did this on his Instagram. Dave said, yeah, I fucking don't endorse sugary drinks. Sugary drinks are bad for you. Don't drink that shit. I drink some of their sugar-free shit and I drink their water. Fuck off. Like, or don't hook them as a sponsor. But someone just come up there and be like, fuck you. We're getting money for the athletes. We've made that a priority. We don't endorse drinking this shit. Thank you. And then continue with the sponsorship. End of call. Everyone can go there. Just address it. You don't have to make it any. And if you didn't, and if you didn't, and I missed it, I'm sorry. But like, that's what we need. Just leadership. This community's made for that honest talk. Though, like that's the shit we're doing. That's easy to do that compared to some of the shit that people are doing in the gyms. What the people are doing in Craig Howard's gym or Matt's gym this morning. My final thing with Gary is what we already talked about. I don't want to beat a dead horse, but you said you put on 300 affiliates, and like, if we don't know what the denominator is, like, it doesn't matter. Like, did you lose 1,000? Like,
right? Did you regain some?
And why do I care? You guys tell me why would affiliates care about more affiliates coming on? What do you guys care? Do you guys want that or not want that?
No, I don't. I think I forget if it was you, Sevan, or Craig that said it. Basically, they're trying to be like, hey guys, we're not dead. Don't worry, there are people that are in line. We're good.
You know, the other thing that makes me a little nervous about it too is there's most of those came out of Europe, and right. I see European growth as like it's going to happen no matter what. If we do a great job, like, you know, any big popular show, a product or anything, when it's popular here, it'll eventually become popular in Europe. Like, those are almost, they're somewhat of a gimme.
Right.
I'm going to say something kind of funny, but kind of tongue in cheek, but I wonder how the DEI council feels about that, because that council views Europe as just Whiteyville. They view everything through the lens of color. And so you have this organization within the organization that's probably not even happy about that. This guy's fucking celebrating, Justin's celebrating the growth of he calls it mind-blowing and inspirational, the growth of the Open. Those are his words, in Europe. I don't know what's mind-blowing, but the DI council's got to be like, that's just more white people. That's fucked up. I mean, I'm not even joking. You know that there's a whole fuking faction inside of HQ that your affiliate dollars are supporting that think that shit.
Is there a media team?
It's fucking nuts. I have no idea, actually. I don't know.
How are they prioritizing the DEI council over like A media team.
Yeah, it's.
I don't get it.
I have to send my wife a text right now.
I think, but back to the affiliate thing though, I think that there's a lot of affiliates that have not re-upped on their affiliate fees, and I get messages from affiliate owners once a month saying, "Should I do this? Is it do you think it's worth it? What's the added value?" And the added value is not going to come in the form of things that they're going to do for the affiliate owners specifically for their businesses. You're not going to hear from them.
Right.
But, I told one affiliate owner the other day, I said, did you ever read your affiliate agreement? You're agreeing to affiliate with the brand. There's no, it's a partnership. You run your gym business, we'll build the brand and run the brand. And if you pay me $3,000 a year or however much you're paying, you get to put the brand on your business, or say that you use our methodology. That's it. It's really it. And so therefore the obligation is on CrossFit to build that brand and focus on that brand and focus on that methodology to make it so freaking desirable in the public place that people come and they click and they come and they want to be a part of it here at my business. It's not more than that. There's nothing that CrossFit can do for an affiliate in Gilroy, California to, either whether it's a round table or an event that they have, or competition where they show. There's none of those things are really going to help them.
Right.
The kind of the oxymoron there. Let me play devil's advocate here from HQ. You're saying on one part that HQ has to be like make the brand, don't fuck it up, make it as appealing as possible so people want to come in. That being said, we're also saying like be honest and have integrity, even if that upsets some people and pushes some people away.
Yep.
Because we just want to attract the right people. We're not trying to make every fucking dollar. We're just, do you see how there's a little bit of we're giving them a little bit of a mixed message on feedback because they've gone overboard trying to accommodate everyone.
Yes.
Right.
And I get that after the last 2.5 years.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Brutal. Although let me tell you, there's a market for it's created a tremendous market for honesty. Peace and love. Thank you to my sponsors. I feel like I'm just beating up on them, but Justin talks about they have control over the narrative. No, you don't have control over the narrative. The media is fucking absolutely atrocious. Your Instagram account has become just one giant. It's lost all innovation and all sincerity. It's basically one giant copy off of everything like that ESPN does or Barstool Sports does. It's kind of sad. It's turned in gimmicky. You did the Danielle Brandon force off flipping off the camera. You're doing all these things to try to seem edgy. You don't need to do that. You're saying that the Open was great. We know it's not great because Rosa told us the goal was 500,000, and I don't even know if you cracked 300,000. You're saying that you put on 30,000 people. Well, I hope you put on 30,000 people because we're coming from a pandemic year. There's just no relativity and no sincerity and no honesty. It's like you are putting lipstick on a pig. And for people, don't do that. You don't have to do that. Do you have the video pulled up by any chance, Souza?
I do. Do you have
Can you start it at 33, 35? I want to play this. I want to play this one section here. Justin Berg said basically here he's going to tell you that because the Open did so well this year in terms of registrants, they honored that by doing 3 live Open announcements. This is batshit crazy right here what he's saying, and I unless I'm misunderstanding. Yeah, you can start here. Let's go.
So our priorities for this year to share out with you all has been the Open. And so this was a terrific success. This year we added 30,000 new participants in the Open, which is fantastic. International participation was absolutely kind of mind-blowing. The amount of new participants that are coming from Europe in particular has been really kind of inspirational. And in return for that, as we had more people participate, what we also tried to do was honor that experience by producing live Open announcements that gathered our global community, and the viewership on those were over 100.
Will you pause this?
Viewers for each of the 3 shows.
It's not mind blowing. It's not. Who gives a fuck where they came from. you were going to do the open announcements anyway. They've always been done. You only did 3 this year. In the past, there had been 5. You're honoring the community by doing a live feed, and now you're bragging to us how many people watch. Like what? Like what the fuck is he saying? Like I'm angry that my time is being taken from me to for gibberish. It's like, what do you guys? Tell me I'm off my rocker. I'm open to being off my rocker.
Didn't Dave already do this where he traveled all over the world each week to make it so that way each announcement was done in different parts of the world?
Yes.
Didn't that already happen?
Yes.
You're honoring who? You're honoring who? Because we had a 30,000 increase from the pandemic year. It's a fucking slap in the face. Don't let that fucking guy talk again in some affiliate town hall. It's not important. If that wouldn't have been there, would you guys have missed it?
No.
Open?
Would you have been like, hey, we want to hear about the games?
No. There was only one thing that he said in that whole thing that I cared about.
I've never heard Dave talk for 13 minutes. Ever. His talks are like 3 minutes. You guys stand over there. You guys stand over there. Get the fucking cameras fired up. Sevan, Matt, I better not hear you guys talk in the back. I'll kick you the fuck out. Go, action.
He did say that Adrian Bosman's going to program the games.
That was the one thing that I was going to say. He should have just popped on and been like, hey guys, Bosman's
that would have been great.
Programming. We'll see you later.
and then he gave this fluff around Adrian that kind of, and I love Adrian to death, but then when he started fluffing Adrian up, I started hating Adrian. Yeah. I'm like, dude, don't fluff. What we know. We already know. Yeah, we know. Everyone knows he's the fucking man. He's the guy.
People probably,
or just say that, look, the games aren't going anywhere. They are a unique and distinguishing characteristic of CrossFit. No one else has this. We're going to keep doing it. We need your help, by the way.
Yeah.
Please get your members, whatever's intramural opens, whatever you need to do. Let's get more people doing the open because you make them believers and you give them something to do that is a manifestation of what they've been doing in the gym every day.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an amazing feedback loop. The bigger that thing, I don't think that the games, if the affiliates don't flourish, the games will die. The games are the fruit. No matter what anyone thinks, I'm telling you that the affiliates are the root ball and the trunk and the soil. And the games are the fruit. And we love the fruit. I'm not hating on the fruit at all. But you need that feedback loop. And the only part of the feedback loop that really is the games is the open. And it's okay. It's just be honest about it. You're not going to get bigger and bigger sponsors for the games. That's going to make the games grow. It doesn't work like that on a podcast too. If I get fucking J-Lo on here, all of a sudden my podcast isn't super popular. It does not translate like that.
Mm-hmm.
You need all the other stuff: consistency, quality,
a community,
commitment. Yeah, it takes time to build it all, and it's only going to happen in the affiliates.
And like Greg was saying, this whole time, the theme has been, if you just nutshell it, it's like focus on the brand, build really valuable content that highlights the brand and the community within the brand, and give us a call to action. Fire us up. Don't appease all the people that are just the complainers. And that pretty much almost nutshells everything we just said. But I, for one, I'm really excited to hear that Adrian will be involved with the programming and doing that, because that would
I would be more excited if they said they brought Dave back.
Well, of course, but I mean, what's the realistic chance of that happening? So
the guy that fucking fired Dave was fucking fired a month later.
I would hope that they would bring Dave back. That would be huge for them. That'd be fucking a really good choice. But I mean, realistically, it's like I don't really know if they would do that. I hope they do.
It's crazy to me that they don't bring him back. It's crazy to me. What? Say it again.
My feedback on that is
what?
Would Dave come back if they?
Oh yeah. True. Yep. Great question. I doubt it. But who knows? But you're right. I doubt it. But fair. Like fair. Maybe I'm giving them a challenge that's too big. Yeah. The truth is when you do get off this ship, there is a sense of, I mean, he's been off for a while now, and I suspect that there's an enormous sense of relief. And it doesn't help that he's fucking around with Bill Henniger, who's rich as God, and guys in Palo Alto. So who knows what is going on? Do you think Rogue, this is total side subject,
what do you know about Palo Alto?
Do you think, I know Dave's been over there fucking around with some of your homies. I know you may know more than I do, Craig. I know you got your ear over there. Do you think Rogue's $1 billion company?
Yes.
Yeah. Damn. Good on Bill and Katie. Shit.
Absolutely. They work so hard.
Man. You guys should sponsor the podcast. Don't be scared, Bill and Katie. Don't be scared. I need a bench. I need a bench. Need a bench.
We got a deal.
I need a go ruck bag too. I'm gonna start rucking. Do you ruck, Craig?
No, but I want to after watching Matt's video of the challenge, the beast challenge.
I want to start rucking. I'm getting on that bandwagon. I'm so stupid. I've known Dave for 15 years, and he's the ruck master. Yeah. And I should have seen that and done it, but recently it got in my head. They talk about expanding the global offering. Justin was saying that. I just think it's funny that the 5 teams from South America got cut for the games because they lied about where they train or whatever. I don't know if it's their fault or whatever, but I just think it's funny once again that like you want to expand this, but you're talking about how it's expanding in Europe, but like your DEI council only cares about it expanding where there's brown and black people. Do you guys not realize that? And the DEI council must be flipping out that 5 teams from South America got cut from the games. I'm gonna not say that because you guys are on here. I don't want to. I talked about trying to grow the games is like trying to force the fruit to grow. Like you really do have to focus on the affiliates in the community. What Craig? Why didn't Grid take off? Is it because
because it's expensive and it was hard to understand.
Do you think what I was hoping you would say is because it didn't have an affiliate community behind it?
There's certainly that as well.
All right, good answer.
An affiliate community would have accelerated the process of getting more buy-in. But it's complex. It's a cool sport. It's fun, and you watch it when you understand it. It's cool, but people didn't relate to it. They couldn't understand it. It was too. They looked at it and you could see it from afar, and it was so complex to them. Even though we tried to dumb it down as much as possible, it was it didn't make sense to people.
And the thing too about the games that was so unique, especially like in the early years when it was at Carson and stuff, was it just literally felt like one huge gathering of affiliates,
Yeah, exactly.
It seemed like a big, where everybody could just come and hang out, and you walk through and it just seemed like you were with like your people, like everybody there was a CrossFitter. We were all kind of there for the same reason. We'd sit there and watch people row for 2.5 hours, and that, I don't know, that was unique. And that's only there because the affiliates and because you could see those workouts, and then you could go, oh man, like, okay, we're going to try this when we get home. Of course you're going to heavily scale it or do whatever it takes, but it's like, oh, we could do that. Or, how that feels, or, oh, they're doing Naughty Nancy. Imagine having to run that berm and do 15 or 10 more squats in the workout at a heavier weight. There was that sense of like community, and you knew you felt it with them. You understood what was going on.
It's relatable because it's measurable, observable, and
repeatable. The final thing here on Justin, then I want to move to Jason Dunlop, is he said that they're going to funnel people from the sport into the affiliates. No, they're going to funnel themselves. You ain't doing shit. People are going to see the sport on TV, and then they're going to be like, okay, what is this shit? And then they're going to go into a gym. CrossFit's not. HQ's not. They're not doing anything for that.
And it's hard to say.
He's trying to take credit for something that just happens. Water flows downhill. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it's hard to tell. Like that's really tough to actually base anything off of, because you could easily make the argument for every person that sees it on ESPN also won't go into affiliate, because then they see it on there and they go, oh my gosh, like this is way too hard. The correct mixture was, I think, was it Constance was her name, that lady that was highlighted? Like, that was the correct mixture, because I remember at the time I was still bartending at Black.
For those of you who don't know, Matt's referring to a video that's called Constance. It was made at David Osario's gym in Brooklyn, and it's a lady who's 80 years old. All her hair's gone. She's doing CrossFit. She's black, and I think her husband had just died, and her fucking life's a mess. But she's doing CrossFit, and that's like her saving grace. It was a pretty fucking amazing story.
Yeah, and I remember working at the bar at Black Vegas, and it would come on, like on Saturday at whatever, 11 a.m. in October when there was no actual real sporting events going on. You would see the CrossFit games going. And I would turn all the TVs behind me to the CrossFit games, and people would sit there and they'd go, "What the hell is this?" And then they would watch it, and it would cut to that commercial of Constance, and all of a sudden, it appealed to everybody that was sitting there. The young, early 20-something that's like, "Damn, I want to look like those guys," to the kind of heavier, overweight guy that's like, "I could never do that." And then it cuts to her, and you're like, "Oh wait." And that was the perfect balance of how they've kind of displayed it, and that really brought people in from the games to the affiliates, in my opinion.
Can you pull up the video before of Jason Dunlop speaking right where he starts? The problem here is that I don't know who this guy is, so it's tough. So I already have like a negative feeling, like who's this guy if he's the president of CrossFit, not when we don't know who he is. But
you'll remember him from Starbucks and Nike.
I'll admit that I totally have that bias. He has a nice voice. He sounds smart. I actually have only heard good things about him from the people I know at HQ. I have not heard one negative thing about this guy, which is kind of crazy.
Do you have a time stamp for it, or you just want me to play it where he starts?
Maybe just play it where he starts. The problem is that he starts by telling us.
Yeah, start with that slide right there.
he starts by telling us that Eric Rosa was transitioned to chairman of the board, and then he says we're going to be transparent. So there's the first lie, and then it's a bad juxtaposition of thoughts, because we know that Eric Rosa left kicking and screaming, and it wasn't good, and he has no real power in the company. And then on top of that, then he goes on to say 4 minutes of nothing. And so if you're the president of a company, you want to make sure that if you talk, that you don't do more damage than good, I guess. I would be so bummed if this was my boss. I would be like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? Okay, go ahead.
For everything you do daily to make sure that we're transforming lives, and as we protect and evolve as we grow the CrossFit brand. I want to share 3 things with you, 3 questions that come up. One being around where we are with our CEO search. Secondly, where we are with the focus on what we're doing and how we're going to support you. And then thirdly, how we will actually do that. So the what and the how. First of all, the CEO search, lots of questions asked, obviously, on where we are with this, given that Eric moved to the chair role a few months ago.
Can you pause?
And I want to be completely transparent.
So we have a pretty bad echo. I'm not sure why, Matt, but
I can fix that.
Okay. But basically, he gives the 3 things he's going to talk about, and one of them is the CEO search, and he says he's going to be transparent about that. Now, we already just saw at the beginning of this that Nicole's behaving as the CEO. So, and they know that too. Everyone knows that who sees that. It's not fucking rocket science. So why are they searching? Why don't they just make her the CEO? And if she's not the CEO, why are they letting her act like the CEO? I cannot. Do you think that there's crazy pressure on her, Craig? Do you talk to her, Craig? Sorry, I don't mean to.
No,
I don't talk to her either.
I trade messages with her.
Okay.
And but I think there is crazy pressure, and I think she's been through a lot in 2 years.
Yeah.
And again, like I said, this is a difficult role to have to walk into. You could be out as fast as you're in.
Pay her more then. If she says no, what if she says no? What if you offer her $500 a year to be CEO and she says no? Did you jump it to $750? Pay her more. Get her the fuck in there. Yeah.
I would. Make it worth her while to be there. Nicole is a perfectionist because she wants people because she seeks, affirmation and approval for what she's doing. And Nicole wants people to know that she's doing a great job. Perhaps she feels like in the CEO role, in this role, she might be hamstrung from doing that perfect job. Right. You said it yourself. She's like, you got a call from Nicole, like, holy shit, you better be prepared. Right.
Yeah. You better not.
Can she, being a CEO, if you don't have experience being a CEO, she might be really apprehensive to take it on if she doesn't feel she can do like 110%.
Yeah. Everyone, her and Dave, if they called you, you better have your shit fucking tight. Yeah. They're not there. They're not calling you to make fucking small talk. Okay. And so he's going to talk to us about the search for the CEO. Sorry, Matt.
transparent in that the search is kicked off. We are actually looking for someone, as you've heard, CrossFit is a business built around the coach with great leadership and stewardship. And those will be things that we will be looking at really about the cultural fit for how we are going to evolve the business, but them as the leader, as the CEO. Their commitment to CrossFit will be absolutely a must as we continue this search. But also, we will be looking for an individual that will be like everybody in this.
Okay, can you pause? Like fuck you. You're telling me that your search for the CEO, he must have a commitment to CrossFit? Sorry, you skipped over the part. Does it have to be a human? Since we're just going through like the most mundane. Like, of course they like. I just right away I'm like, what? You know, for the criteria to be my wife is you must have a vagina. Other than that, we're good. Like, what the fuck is this guy saying? I just feel like it's so I feel like an idiot when he's talking to me. Like he's trying, or he's an idiot, or he thinks he's talking to idiots.
He's trying to be reassuring, I think. I think that's his aim here. Reassuring.
Okay, go on. It's just nuts. And he doesn't seem like a bad person. And he's reading, right? Is he reading?
I can't tell if he's reading.
Okay. And I want to see him big. I want to see him big.
A little higher up though, because it really looks like he's talking down to us.
I want to see him bigger. I want to see his eyes. Okay, go on.
The other thing too. That was the other thing that kind of annoyed me about the whole presentation is the speakers. Yep. This 1/8 of the size of the screen.
Yeah.
And especially Nicole and Gary, they're like good looking people. Let's see them fucking big. Let's fucking stare at these motherfuckers. Okay, go on.
And continue with a growth mindset as we continue to transform lives globally. And they will be underpinned completely with making sure that the community and what we are at our heart, at our strongest, making sure we preserve the community and we grow this together. So this search has kicked off and we'll keep you updated as to how that progresses. But I just wanted to share because that's been asked several times out there in the community. The second thing about what we will be doing, we're going to be preserving and evolving. And actually that's been covered throughout the thread of this, this town hall. And hopefully you'll agree, we're actually grounding ourselves back in what we actually at CrossFit are good at. And it's proven time and time again over the last 2 decades. And that is our methodology, is our commitment to fitness. And it's making sure that we actually stay true to that. And you've got a commitment from myself, everybody in this call, and everybody here that is supporting you, that is front and center as we think about what we'll be doing moving forward. And moving forward is evolving. And that evolving is actually going to make sure that we grow the business at
Can you
our
pause
roots,
it?
But we actually...
I have no idea what he's saying. Can either of you help me? What do you feel like you're getting value from listening to this guy talk? I'm not even trying to be mean to him. I really need to know what I'm supposed to be hearing here as an affiliate owner to move forward. Oh, Craig, you're muted. Sorry, Craig, you're muted. You got to unmute yourself, buddy.
I appreciate that they're going to preserve the methodology, but I assume they do that anyway. Like I didn't know that was on the table. And then I think they mean adapt, not evolve. Like adapt to the marketplace, adapt to new environments, adapt to changing population, those types of things. Evolving and preserving is somewhat of an oxymoron.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that the methodology. I think we're going to stay true to what we do. That's all that needed to be said. Methodology still works. Methodology is proven. We ain't changing that.
How much stronger is it when Greg Glassman says, listen, you guys are lifeboats. We cannot save everybody. We can't even save most of the people. But you affiliates are lifeboats. What do I mean by lifeboats? You have a cure for the world's most vexing problem. We have an elegant fucking solution for this. Elegant, not in the superficial sense, but in the mathematical sense. And then he explains to you, like these other fucking idiots are just using these words and Greg's like drilling down. And he's like, and you have to get these people into your gym. Stop being a pussy. Walk up to the fat guy at Taco Bell and then get him into your gym. What are you afraid of? You're a trainer. You have the cure. Don't you believe in yourself? Hey, I'm going to say something that's really going to piss people off, but it's the same thing. We have Joe Biden blaming Putin for gas prices going up, whereas a real leader would have said, okay, listen, motherfuckers, we're going to fucking go rob Canada. We are going to build a fucking pipeline that fucking digs into their biggest oil reserve, and we're going to bring that shit to the USA. Don't worry. Like, what the fuck? I like I want to stop saying like. I don't understand what this man is not making me feel like the person driving the ship knows what the fuck is going on. I don't feel like he knows what GPP is. I don't think he knows what a bar muscle up is. I don't think he knows that added sugar destroys the vasovasorum, which leads to eventually cardiac arrest, and that it's not high cholesterol. Like I'm not getting the Greg Glassman effect from him.
It's because it's not there.
Yeah.
They're not talking about that. He could have twisted what you said a little bit around and just said, hey guys, what our job is now is more important than ever. We've seen that health is on the forefront of everybody's minds, and what we have and what you possess inside your gym is the cure to that, and it is the hedge against sickness. And you guys need to go out there. We need to bring these people in. We need to share the message. Send us your transformational stories from inside the gym. Send us some content. We're going to start producing all of that. We're going to blast it. We're going to spend less money on pointless initiatives that have continued to fail over and over again. And we're going to direct all those dollars into just building a ton of content brought to you by you, built by you. And then we're going to take the best of what's working really well, and we're going to produce it on a mass scale on our end. Let's get to work.
Stop blaming us for not enough black people in your gym. What the fuck are you doing? Show us the video of what you're doing. Not enough old people in your gym. You want more disabled classes? Then to have a special class at your gym. You go to all the places where there's prosthetic limbs as a gym owner. All the places where they work with people with prosthetic limbs, and put up flyers and start fucking getting people with fucking pieces missing in your gym.
And by the way,
when we see that and they enter the open, then we'll fucking provide them a fucking spot on the biggest stage in the world to be fit.
Yep. And
then someone needs to be just giving it to them from the top. I might have to go.
And then follow it up with, and by the way, here's people who have already done that successfully. Here's all the videos. We're going to let them speak. Here's a link to all their handles and to their websites. Just follow that path.
I want to say one thing real quick. Sorry, Craig. I have to go literally in 50 seconds, but I'm going to go and then Matt will take over, and you guys, because I want you guys to be able to say the last thing. Go ahead, Craig.
But just I don't think he knows the definition really of CrossFit. Constant varied functional movements executed at high intensity. I don't think had he known that, he would have said that instead of, we're going to preserve our methodology. Well, what's that methodology? I want to hear it. I want to hear those words come out of his mouth.
I think he said mythology.
Yeah, he mythology. He also said protect in the beginning too, instead of preserve. I need someone that knows and understands that methodology, right? I need someone to know that it's measurable, observable, and repeatable, and why that's important.
Yeah.
Nicole, I want you to succeed. Gary, I want you to succeed. Jason Dunlop, I want you to succeed. Justin, I want you to realize that you'll never be fucking Dave Castro. And we all know that, and you're fucked, and you should stop trying to be. You should try something new. I don't think you're being yourself, dude. And you're corporate gooping up the brand. Matt, love you guys. Craig, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me on. It's an honor.
Yeah. All right, guys. We'll be back on tonight, guys, with the live call-in show. We'll be partying, looking at naked girls on Instagram like we always do. Okay. Love you guys. And naked.